There's that.
So you got the market update, right? You're doing
I got it all, buddy. I got it all right here. Right here. So it's 7 o'clock. You ready?
Ready.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Don.
And we're talking real estate. All right, folks. 7 o'clock on the dot. It's going to be a great show. We've got John Davis, the firefighter, in the house. He's going to give you some great information. Don's got some good things to say. And as always, I'm going to say ridiculous things throughout the show. So that's just how it goes, okay?
Or be ridiculous.
Right. But the first thing that we want to know is, where are you watching from? Where are you coming in from? Are you coming in from Woodhaven? Are you up in Oscoda? Are you out in Battle Creek? Where are you coming in from? So take a minute, tell us in the comments where you're piping in from, what city. So let us know what city. We'll give you a little shout out if we see some interesting cities, all right?
All right, so today's question of the week is, how are you beating the heat? It's obviously pretty hot out there. We're all sticky and sweaty. And what are you doing to beat the heat, keep cool? And we're going to go over that later. So let us know what you're doing.
You can say smelly too. It's okay. I put the extra deodorant on today, but it's probably not helping too much.
It's not working.
It's not helping too much.
Not working.
All right, guys.
So you got the market updates?
Well, let's do this. Break down. Give me the rundown. What we got going on.
All right. So up first, of course, is the market update.
Yep.
Topic number 1 is a seller's journey from the appointment to the showings.
So halfway.
Halfway,
okay.
Yeah. Then the city spotlight is Gibraltar, Michigan.
Gibraltar, Michigan. Man.
Small little town down in south of Detroit.
I think it's the Carlson Marauders. The Gibraltar Carlson Marauders, I think it is. Lots of Marauders out there, yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And we have John Davis, Detroit fireman, that's going to be visiting us and give us some tips on how to stay safe with fireworks and fire.
So let me say this. We sat and talked for a little bit. As the conversation went on, it got more and more interesting. So I'm very glad it's coming on today.
Yeah, I think it's really topical. So then we have the topic number 2, beating the heat. Stories from the road. We're hoping John may have 1 or 2. And then we'll wrap it up.
That's
Wrap
it?
it up. That's it.
Wrap it up. That's what I tell some people now. Wrap it up. Get it done.
In about 28 minutes.
All right. So let's talk market update, folks. So 4th of July weekend is an interesting thing historically in real estate, because typically what happens is things would get a little slower. Would you say? Typically, okay?
In July.
They do.
People want to go on vacation. People have a lot of vacations in July and all that stuff. So
July is like the month. July is like the month where, like you said, people go on vacation. People are kind of slowing it down. So that's what we're probably going to project to see, but we don't know because of the COVID backup. So let me give you the kind of the stats and we'll go from there. So last week our brokerage had 274 listings and 145 pending. Okay, so as Don and I will always tell you, listings, if the listing number is bigger than the pending, it means things are slower. Things are staying on the market a little longer. Okay, so that's what we had last week. Now this week, Don, 293 listings and 163 pendings. So both categories went up. Houses that went under contract went up, and houses that went on market. But again, I feel like they're kind of, some of them are hanging around a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big, somewhat of a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, I mean, being out in the field, it's still, if it's a house that's moving ready, it's still lightning fast off the market, highest and best and all that business. But I feel like there's enough stuff coming out now where, buyers are starting to get a fighting chance finally.
So you think there's a slowdown on the demand side or on the supply side?
I don't know. I feel like a couple of things. I feel like that one, that more has kind of hit the market now. There's a little more inventory, it feels like, right? So that's one. And then 2, I feel like people have been pumped up so much with, you can put it up whatever you want it for and just throw a number out there. That's what's going to happen. So I think people are doing that too.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to see the prices get up a little higher. And I'll tell you why I say that. I had a couple this week come back with lower appraisals.
Wow.
They had highest and best, and the number got built up and all that stuff. And then appraiser came in and said, "Yeah, no, I appreciate that energy and stuff.
Nice try."
Right, but the market is. I mean, the neighborhood's worth this.
Right.
So I feel like that's kind of coming to 10 too.
So they're stretching it a little bit too far for the appraisers. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I know right now currently the market mortgages anyways that they're taking longer for the buyers to get approved, to go through the process. And are you finding that same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So especially with underwriting stuff. Underwriting seems like it's just moving a little slow. And I don't know if that's lack of folks working or what. You know what I mean? So
that's a good question. I've been told that there's a lot of mortgages that they're processing right now. So Who knows?
So a couple things. One of our topics, like we said, is beat the heat. Your good buddy Mike McLaughlin's in Woodhaven. You know where he's at? He's watching from the pool. Mike McLaughlin, we see you. And I'll tell you another
Don't drop
interesting
that
one.
phone in the water.
That's right. We have, I only say this because of this fun, interesting little thing. We have Billy Ferguson and Jamie Ferguson both watching at the same time. I don't even think they're related though.
No.
So pretty interesting thing. So lots of folks coming to check us out today.
All right. Well, that was a good job on the market update, Scott. So let's get to topic number 1.
Yeah, so
The seller's journey.
so break it down for us in some layman's terms and try to make it easy.
There.
Yeah, there is. There
Sellers
definitely is.
disappointed?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. Like the long face was like, I mean, I felt bad. A couple of them are young kids, and their face was just so long. I'm like, God dang it.
Yeah. So that's one of the things is getting that price at the right price point to make the house sell fairly quickly, but getting top dollar for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Number 2 is when you do establish that price, establishing the marketing plan. We're going to put it in a multiple listing service. Where are you going to put it on the internet? Where are you going to put that information? Where are you going to advertise it? And of course, getting that sign up.
So would a marketing plan include, putting your listing on Talkin Real Estate at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays?
Plugging it in on this show? I don't know if that's
No,
what we do.
I don't
We're
think
not
they
about
would.
that.
Folks who don't do that, we try to plug our own stuff. We just want to give you good information. I was just kidding. Go ahead.
So next up is when you do get your home ready, you want to stage it and get photos. You want to have good photos and you do that by staging it on the same day, and that way, when people see it on the internet, they'll want to come inside.
Yeah. So staging down for me is one big word: declutter. Declutter is like the biggest pointer I give anybody that we walk in the house. Look, I want to see your countertops. Declutter, please. Right?
Absolutely, I think so too. And if you have a lot of furniture, knickknacks and stuff, those can be put away. You don't need all that sort of stuff out there. Okay, so next up is city inspection. You want to have the city inspection so you know what you're dealing with, so that when the appraisal comes in, when the offer comes in, you know what's going to happen, and you can kind of predict how much the repairs are on the city inspection.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, next up is market exposure to, I like this one the most, I think, because you want to talk to agents that are in the business, that are doing business, that sell houses and get the job done and are professional.
Yep.
I like to reach out to them and contact them. Another thing is I like to call the neighborhood. You prospect the neighborhood, let your neighbors know that your home is on the market, and who do they know that they might want to move into the neighborhood with them? Yeah,
that's a big one too, Don, is that people like to live by people that they know and care about, right?
Right.
Like my cousin lives in this neighborhood, or my uncle lives over here. Like people like that stuff. So that's a big deal.
Or sometimes they'll know about the house. Maybe there's somebody they don't want living near them in the family that they maybe not get along with, and so they just drive down another street.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. Next up is showings. When you actually get people into the home, what kind of feedback are you getting? What are the agents saying? What are the prospective buyers saying about your home? What are the tips that they may give you some ideas on what you may want to do that you didn't see? Well,
and the other thing about showings too is this: somebody's going to leave a light on, somebody's going to leave a door unlocked. Agents are forgetful folks. Okay, that some of that stuff's going to happen.
Well, they're excited when they show a house, and if the buyer's excited, they get excited,
right.
And sometimes they forget things. So
Right.
Absolutely.
Those
Those sort of things happen, but thank goodness it's rare.
Yeah, and some of the things to think about showings too. In this market, it kind of seems like a good weekend of straight-on showings, even though it's exhausting, it was kind of happening. That was happening for a while.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I said, as we roll into July, I don't know, but before that, it was like this weekend, 40 showings and offer. You know what I mean? So that's how it was going at one time.
Right. So and finally, after the showings, if you're getting showings and no offers, you might have to make it a price adjustment. You might have went a little high, and the buyers are not buying it at that price. They like it. The good thing is you have people coming in, so you're close on a price, but you may need to tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, and that's a hard conversation, even when it's understood. Like I tell people, pretty much 2 weeks. If we haven't got an offer in the market that we're in currently, not as as we're going forward, but in currently, if you haven't got an offer in 2 weeks, we did something wrong in pricing. Mm-hmm. We just did.
Right.
Because if it's in good shape, it should go.
Right. And the market tells you what's going on. It's not that you come up with this crazy price or hope for this great. The buyers will tell you what's going on, what they believe the house is worth, and you just have to heed that advice. It's kind of like advice. They're giving you advice. You have to heed that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So a couple quick shout outs. We got Jim Dalmage from looking on from Harrison, way up north. So we got a up north contingency we didn't even know about, right? Yeah. I've seen at least 3 or 4 people talking about they're watching from their pool. If you're watching from your pool, give us a little pool emoji in the comments below. If you're watching from your pool, give us a little swimsuit emoji or something like that, all right? All you fancy people that got the pools that can enjoy beat the heat. That's good stuff.
Okay, so up next we have City Spotlight.
City Spotlight, Gibraltar, yeah?
Gibraltar, yeah.
So tell me about Gibraltar.
All right, just a few tips about it. It's located about 12 miles south of Detroit.
Yep.
It is approximately 4 square miles in area.
So you're taking 75, talking about 75 south.
I-75 south.
Yeah, I-75, okay.
Yep. It has 4 islands and canals that bisect the city. So there's these canals that go through there, and some of them are large enough to have boats on.
Yep.
So you can have somewhat waterfront property or canal front property and go out to the big lake of Lake Erie.
Right. So somebody was telling me, because now you and I talked about maybe thinking about moving on Grosseal, right?
Right.
And being by water and stuff. Somebody else told me that Gibraltar is we should look there. That's another place to look. So it's probably comparable, I would say, in some ways, but the island's a little more. A little pricier. A little pricier.
Down in Gibraltar?
No. A little pricier, Grosseal.
Grosseal, yeah, I would think
Gibraltar,
so.
a little more bang for your buck.
Grosseal's a bigger area, that's for sure, and there's more households. There's approximately 4,600 people live in Gibraltar, and there's about 1,900 households. Grosseal, I think, are going to be higher than that. Those numbers are going to be higher than that.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, so active, currently on the home, there's like it is a small cities for the most part. 5 homes currently on the market right now being marketed.
Really?
Yeah, only 5.
Wow, that's a narrow number, huh?
It is, and the price range, you think that's narrow. This is pretty wide. Is 113,000 to around 800,000.
So 5 houses that are for sale.
Yeah.
One's 100 and one's 800.
Yeah.
Really?
Huge difference.
Oh my God.
Pending, currently under contract, 7 homes, and that's from 100 to about 320.
So more pendings always means the market is going pretty hot.
Yep.
You have more pendings than actives. Okay, keep going.
And sold in the last 30 days, 3 homes from price 65 to 320,000. So that's a huge range, but not a lot of closed homes.
I guess for whatever reason, I felt like that was a bigger place. Because
No,
you're talking
not.
total active pending sold. You're talking about 15 houses.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. It's not that large of a city, and people stay there. It's they don't seem to move a whole lot off.
Okay.
So
okay.
Average sale price 170,000. Average square footage 1,280.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. So Gibraltar is a cool place to live. If you want waterfront, if you want to get your boat out there, not a bad place to move into.
It has marinas right on the river, so you don't have to have waterfront to be close to your boat.
But I guess the thing is, with that few of properties, you better know what you're looking for. Like you better jump on. If you see something you like in Gibraltar, you better jump on it because there ain't that much around there, right? Yep. So pretty tight market. Yep. So guys, the question again is, please answer the comments below. How are you beating the heat? I can tell you right now, there's about, like I said, 4 or 5 of you watching from a pool. 1 of you watching, Jim Dalman's watching from a pontoon boat. Okay, how are the rest of you beating the heat? We'd love to hear about your plans to beat the heat. Hi, Lisa, boys, how are you? How are you beating the heat? Throw it in the comments below. Tell us how you're doing that.
Okay, so up next we have our interview with John Davis, Detroit fireman.
I'm so psyched for this interview. It's going to be awesome. Just the conversation alone was great. John, what's going on, buddy?
Welcome, John.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
So, John, I've known you for a little while, and I know you've been in the fire department, and we never did this talk about how'd you end up becoming a fireman?
Funny story. I think Firefighter chose me. I didn't choose it.
Okay.
No, because I was going to college and becoming a teacher, and I was coaching football and coaching high school track. And I had a friend come up to me, and he was like, "Hey, you look like you'd be a great fireman." So, man, never thought about being a fireman. Oh, you're gonna be a great fireman.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Let me call my brother. He's looking for a job. I called him up and I said, hey, there's an interview. They're doing the tests and everything at Cobo. Go ahead and take the test. So the day of the test and the day he needed the interview and fill out the application, he calls and said, I need a ride. And so I was like, okay, I give you a ride.
The ride along that got you your life's work. That's pretty good.
And so I give him a ride, and the guy up there, OG, he was like, hey, you up here, you might as well fill out the application. I was like, I don't want to be no fireman.
Yeah.
I'm just a year away from school. And I said, okay, I'll fill it out. Filled it out. And then when it was time for the test, my brother said, hey, I need a test. I need a ride up there to the Cobo to get a test. And plus, I want to cheat off you. And so I was like, okay.
He's not a fireman, is he?
No, he's
Okay,
not.
good, because I was going to say, the whole world
He didn't
knows
really
now.
want it. Huh?
Yeah, and so I was like, okay. But then the funny thing about it is, when we was in Cobo, there was a total about 6,000 people took the test.
Wow.
And so we in Cobo, we lining up, and I got the last seat of that row. So my brother had to go to the next row. Then after
That's why he's not a fireman
that's
now.
why he's
Yeah.
He's an airplane mechanic now.
So before I
That's
throw
actually bad.
before I throw the next question to John, folks, how many of you have kind of fallen into your career? John gave us a great story of how he fell into firefighting, the job that you had for how long?
18 years.
For almost 20 years now. So how many of you had a job that you kind of fell into that kind of became, your life's work? That's definitely an interesting way to go. My next question to you is, when there's a fire in your house, what advice do you have? What do you do?
Okay, well, if you have a fire in the house, you have to have a fire plan.
Fire plan, okay.
Yeah, you need a fire plan before anything.
Yep.
So you should practice and tell your kids, you get them together one day a week for a while till they got the plan mastered. And then next you can do it like once a month. And then you could do
wind it
once
down a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody knows this is the plan. But when they're younger, you want to do it more often than not.
Yep.
And that's what you want to do.
Right.
First, you have to have a fire plan, because if you don't, bad things can happen. And
Okay.
A lot of confusion happens during a fire, and people lose their heads all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So what, just briefly, what would be in a fire plan?
What would be a fire plan? First, escape routes.
Okay.
You got to have escape routes, and you always should have multiple escape routes.
Yep.
Okay.
If you got to be upstairs, if you're trapped upstairs, you can have a ladder coming down from your window.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got the side door, make sure you have the side door. You got to have egress in the basement, an egress window in the basement. You got to have multiple escape plans, so everybody will know how to get out.
How to get out of there, yep.
If they can't get out from the original plan.
Okay.
And always have a meeting place so you can have a head count, because there's plenty of times where we had fires and there's not a head count, and they're yelling at us telling, hey, there's somebody
So-and-so's in
inside,
there.
and somebody else, and the kid is it's not even inside, it's somewhere. It's there.
So you're wasting your time
We're
looking
wasting-
around. Yeah.
And we can be doing something else,
Yep.
and
Yep.
you got everybody's hyped up thinking there's a body inside.
Right.
Yeah, gotcha.
So going back to the basement, the egress in the basement, how often does something like that come up? Where somebody was in a basement, I mean, you only have one way out if you don't have an egress. Is that something that's very common that people in fires, somebody stuck in a basement or something
Yes,
like that?
there is comments because, because I work in the city of Detroit. A lot of people have rooms in the basement.
Yeah, with no egress?
With no egress.
Yeah,
You got a
yeah.
lot of these older houses.
Older homes, right.
And so with these older homes, they don't have that egress. I have that side door. And so you might have electrical problems that cause the fire. The dryer might cause a fire. Anything. Somebody smoking in the bed,
Right.
might
Yeah,
cause a fire.
yeah.
Right.
And so they don't have no way out, and then they get trapped.
Right. Okay.
So
it is it happens
it happens
very
often.
often.
So for any folks that are thinking about putting a basement bedroom in, you gotta have an egress window, okay? You got to. Just for the fact that you don't know when a fire happens, somebody get trapped down there, and that's the end of that. You know what I mean? So
One
make
way out.
one time the right time. Do it the right way.
And it's not expensive to put
No,
in.
Yeah.
no, absolutely not.
Okay, so before the show, we were talking about power outages and that sort of stuff. Anything can happen with fire with power outages? What can happen if there's
Okay.
power outage?
What can happen? A lot of things happen. It's a multitude where you have the power lines come down and starts a fire on your garage or on your
Yep.
roof. You have if you have electrical problems in your house, what can happen is once the power gets turned on, you can get a surge and cause a fire somewhere in your house. Yes.
Huh.
So you got to make sure everything is tip top.
Yeah.
And then another common one that people have is they have electrical stoves and they don't turn them off. They were cooking before the power outage,
Yeah.
and they don't turn it off, and they leave the house because it's a power outage. Leave that pan or cooking
Whatever
grease
it
or
is,
something
yeah.
on the stove, and then all of a sudden the power comes back home. You're not even home, or
You won't be home for a while.
You won't be home for a while,
Yeah.
or you could be home asleep. And you forgot to turn that
Right,
knob on,
right.
and it comes back
Wow.
on, and it causes a fire.
Right.
So, folks, Don and I and John were talking about this before, and it was almost mystifying, Don and I, that you don't think about that. A power outage, when the power comes back on, could cause all kinds of crazy stuff.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
just kind of keep that in mind.
So what you mentioned about a surge, power comes back on and there's a surge. Typically, what happens? What would cause a fire on a surge? Would it be a certain appliance?
Well,
certain outlet or something?
A lot of times it's like people have cord abuse,
Okay.
and where you have a multitude of cords and one, you think that surge protector is going to work.
Yeah.
And if you got a real cheap surge protector, you're getting it from the dollar store. You
Yeah.
bought one for $7.99 or something like that.
Yeah.
You got 8 or 9 cords in there, and that's cord abuse, and that surge happens, and you get a lot of power going into that surge, and it could cause a fire.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow. Very interesting.
Man.
You
That's
call cord abuse?
Yeah, we
So
just
it means
call
there's
it-
too many in there. or
There's too
something?
many in there.
Huh,
Or
wow.
you might have your, sofa sitting on that cords, and it's just a lot of people with these older houses and everything. They don't have enough outlets.
Right.
And so when you don't have enough outlets, you go up there and say, oh, let me just go ahead
Plug this,
plug
this.
right.
Yeah.
And you got
yeah.
the brown cord, you got the orange cord going through the house, and all plugged into the surge protector. And the surge protector is only
Yeah.
$7.99.
Yeah.
It's not
At the
at all.
dollar store.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if you want to use a surge protector, invest some money in a surge protector. They're actually going to really work.
So Don, let me stop you just for a second. So Lee Temple came out and said, great information. We appreciate the fact that he came out and gave us this good information. And then Kathy Cordy came out and said, didn't think about the stove. Kathy, we didn't think about it either. Don and I were just like, that's why we asked that
Never
question
asked
again.
it, yeah.
We were like, we never even thought of that. Like, you don't think about during a power outage that it could cause a fire when it kicks back on. Like that's crazy to think about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just some things you don't be aware of. And John has the experience as an investigator. He sees this stuff day in and day out. That's why we bring folks like him on, because he has the expertise and looks at this every single day, right?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every
So
single
let me
day.
ask you this question then. For fire safety, besides a plan, what would you tell our audience? What are things that are important in a house?
For fire safety, okay, let's go back. Okay, for fire safety for a plan, what do you think is important?
Oh, no. We already got the plan in place.
Okay.
But I mean, like, for the house itself, what things can they do to make it more safe?
What things they make it more safe? Okay, like some people have bars in their house. You need to remove those bars, especially in the kids' room. You want it for safety
Yeah.
or whatnot, but in your kids' room, you can't have them bars in the house because they can't get out. And then people have these doors. The kids can't get out these doors.
Would have been the handles
The
or something?
handles.
Yep.
We got multiple locks. That's something that if you're going to have multiple locks and you have to need a key to open it from the inside, make sure that the key is available for
I
you
think of that. Yeah.
to get out. Even if it's not the key, it's for you to get out.
Right.
Because if you're placing your keys too far away, you're going chaotic.
Well, even like height level down. Think about that
Right.
for a minute. Like if a kid's trying to get out and then things up high, how the hell are you going to get out of there?
Right.
Wow, that's good. I didn't even think of that stuff.
Right.
Wow.
So it's a lot of things you have to sit back and you got to think is who's all in your house.
Yeah.
And what you got to do
Right.
to make it safer for you to get out just in case you have a fire there.
Absolutely. We got any more questions now?
Okay. Well, before we go further, when you first started off, now you're in the investigative department.
Yes.
And before you were obviously out on the truck and doing all the fire work and putting out fires and risking your life, going into burning buildings and all that sort of stuff. So we were talking about this before the show a little bit about fireworks.
Right.
And what are some of the dangers of fireworks right now and it always?
All right. The fireworks, like right now, you see that we have 90-degree weather. So if you got, like a wooden garage, wooden house, it's very, very dry.
Yeah.
It's very dry. So as you know, the people are firing firecrackers all day long. I mean,
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
from as soon as it gets dark to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning in some places. And so you got these bottle rockets, these cannons and everything, they're landing on people's garages.
Wow.
And they're catching them on fire. And they're catching these trees on fire. And it might land on the garage and it might land on a bird's nest.
Yep.
And that bird nest will catch on fire and cause your garage to be on fire.
Yep.
So and people firing into garbage cans and causing garbage cans to catch on fire. And if the garbage can is next to the house catches on fire.
Because all has to be as close.
That's right. And so it's been a big problem so far this year because of the heat and because of the amount of firecrackers, fireworks, I'm saying firecrackers.
Yeah.
Fireworks has been shot. I mean, it's incredible, especially, how long ago when they changed the rule where we can get shoot fireworks here in Michigan?
5-7 years
Yeah,
ago or something like that.
before people had to just go to Ohio, so I've seen it a few nights. It was only people.
Right, you had to go do something hard to get it. It was hard to get.
Now it's easy access, so people are firing it, shooting them all the time.
Yeah, I got you.
We all hear
more
that.
fires,
Yeah, this year it's incredible how long the fireworks have been going off. So.
Everybody's at home.
Yeah, exactly. And Henry Ford or downtown would have the fireworks. People would be able to get their enjoyment there.
Yeah,
we don't have it now.
Yeah, people are locked down. So, folks, let's throw this out to you. How many folks? I know my mom. She's still watching. We'll say yes to this. How many folks had too much fireworks going on around them? As far as just like fireworks every night, all night long, late at night, those kind of things. So if fireworks were not doing you right, tell us that. We'd love to hear about your fireworks and all the crazy that's been going on. Because like John said, we're all packed together. We kind of been not much going on. So fireworks were like a all the time thing, huh?
All the time thing.
Yeah, all the time thing. Yeah.
Going on since what? June?
Yeah.
Really.
So we're gonna have a story from the road for you in a little bit, but we would love to have John back on because, like I said, just the depth of knowledge that he has and what he can do to help us. So we'd love to have you on again. That'd be great. Absolutely.
Very informative.
Very informative.
Yeah.
So, folks, the question was, what are you doing to beat the heat? So if you just joined us, what are you doing to beat the heat these days? You in the pool? I saw somebody said they were on their yacht. I saw somebody else said that they were in their tub, AC, all kinds of different things. What I want to do is give you 6 features of a home that you never really thought about to help you beat the heat. Okay. Now I know AC down is a big one, right? That's automatic. And a pool,
right?
Those are going to be big. I don't have those at all. I'm talking about ones
you never have AC.
No, I have AC.
Oh.
Yes, I have AC. Yes, I do. My mom got AC last year, so she in her house 44 years she'd have AC.
Yeah.
But no, my point is there's other features of a home that can help you beat the heat. All right, so let's start with the easy one. Instead of a pool, if you have a big tub, have one of those bigger jacuzzi tubs in your bathroom.
Garden tub?
Right, one of those garden tubs. Most folks think about it for like warming up and muscle massaging when it's cold. When it's hot, throw cold water in there and lay in that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your own personal little pool, right? Here's one.
Maybe a bucket of ice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bucket of ice. You're killing me. He's got all the jokes tonight. John, this is how every other night he's a straight guy. Now he's got all the jokes on me, all right?
I'm on top.
So, 2,
the game.
ceiling fans. You got a ceiling fan in almost every room. I mean, that's going to circulate some air for you. So that's 2. 3, a fancy thermostat. You got a Nest or a Google Home or something like that, you can set it for cool off an hour before I get home. So you're being energy efficient and you got that cool air as soon as you get home. That's another one. So 4, John, this is an interesting one you might take an interest about, is incandescent light bulbs. 90% of the energy, is what I read. Correct me if I'm wrong. 90% of the energy of incandescent light bulbs is heat, right? So you change, so that's heat coming off that light bulb. You get LED lights, all of a sudden you're taking some of that heat away.
Yeah, it's cooler.
And that's interesting. We had it with fire, fire safety stuff mixed in. That's interesting.
We have a couple lamps with halogen bulbs. Those things are hot.
Yeah. So now you're adding the heat too, right?
Yeah.
So
they're hot.
number 5 is another interesting one, is curtains. Now we all love the sunshine, okay? Every morning I say good morning to a ton of people that talk about how great the sunshine is. But if the sun beats down on your house, in your windows, it gets warm, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So some good strong curtains to back away that sun a little bit, right? And then the last one, kind of funny one, is a refrigerator with a cold water dispenser.
Yes.
I know that's it. Go up there, kick the cold water in the ice, and pound that thing. So 6 features of a home that you never thought about to beat the heat, besides AC and pool. Okay, yeah. All right. So again, folks, question as always is how are you beating the heat? What are you doing to beat the heat?
All right, so next, John, do you have a story from the road or anything interesting that you can share with us? That
Well, I can tell you something about the engine house a little bit.
Okay.
You know, I'm a little a-hole, and so.
Okay, that's a good start.
That's a good start.
It's gonna be an interesting story.
So one day, you know, on Sundays, every Sunday, at the engine house is breakfast.
Okay.
It's a normal thing in Detroit Fire. It's breakfast every Sunday.
So you guys aren't eating breakfast together normally?
No, not
Just on
normally.
Sunday, okay.
Sunday,
Yep.
we cook 2 meals, and our first meal on Sunday is always breakfast.
Okay.
And that's something I look forward to because breakfast is my favorite meal. And so one day we get this new boss in. This is his first day at the engine house, at our engine house. He's a captain. He gets transferred over. And we're a group of guys that have been together for 7 to 10 years.
Yep.
So we're a real tight-knit group. And so we got this one guy, he just finished his trial period. So he was a probie, he just finished up, and we told him he has to cook. And so we all leave, but the boss tells him, no breakfast. So we're going, it's like December, so it's cold outside. We come back after checking hydrants, and come back and I'm waiting for grits, eggs, and bacon.
Yeah, yeah.
Some pancakes and
Yep.
you know,
Eggs.
some sausage. You know, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And so I smell sausage, but they're Italian sausage and bratwurst. I'm smelling chicken. I'm like, what is going on here? This is like, I barge in there and I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? Where's breakfast? He said, the cap said, we're not having breakfast here no Sunday. He wants to end that tradition. I was like, what? He wants to end that tradition? I said, okay. So I look in the book and I find out what's the cap schedule. He has the same schedule as me.
Okay.
I said, okay, every day from now on, we're having breakfast, no matter what day it is. So our next day, I said, next day we worked, that was Sunday, so I had to work Tuesday. So I said, okay, we having breakfast both meals. I told the guys, and they agreed with it, so Tuesday come, I cook up grits, eggs, bacon,
Yeah.
strawberry pancakes.
Wow, jeez. I gotta go to the firehouse.
Yeah, and we sat up there and I looked, and the captain looks at me, he was like, what are you doing? And I said, we having breakfast. You said we can't have it a Sunday, so we're having it Tuesday. So we eat breakfast. Second meal, now it's supposed to be dinner time. Guess what we have?
Breakfast?
We have breakfast again.
was he eating with you?
Yeah, he has no choice.
Yeah.
He contributed to it. So next thing you know, and then so the next day we worked together was a Saturday, and guess what we had both meals?
Breakfast.
And then he's like, okay, JD. We can have
Yeah,
breakfast on Sunday.
You have breakfast on Sunday.
So you won.
So I won. We're going to have
So,
breakfast every day.
if you need breakfast on a Sunday, head down to the firehouse. You get breakfast on a Sunday.
Oh, yeah, the best breakfast you ever have.
Absolutely.
Hey, are those guys that you worked with, are they still together, same firehouse, or do you guys move around, don't you?
Yeah, a lot of guys move around, but at that time that we all worked together for about 13 years before we started making rank and moving out. And so so it's right now the Engine 5, there's a whole new crew of young guys, all about 3 to 5 years on the job. They're excited, they love it, and you know I'm happy for them to move up with their career.
And they're bonding and
Oh, they're
doing the same
bonding.
thing you guys did.
They're
to cover
bonding
the
and
back.
doing the same things that we did.
Very
And
cool. Very cool.
it's just
So,
all
Don, you know
new.
what we forgot? Sorry to cut you off. Fan of the show.
Ooh.
I'm not going to forget fan of the show. Don't you worry about that. All right? Give me a little drum roll, will ya? All right. The fan of the 21st episode is Shelly Gambino. You are the fan of the show. Shelly Gambino from Dearborn Heights, Michigan.
Shelly.
And Shirley. Give us a pump up in the comments. Shirley. All right, you guys. We do want to make sure we miss a fan of the show. And starting next week, Don, what else will we have for folks who are fan of the show?
T-shirts.
T-shirts. Okay? We got T-shirts in. They will be available next week. We're getting one for John. I got some
We
extra
got one
large
for
double
you, yeah.
X's
Yeah,
for the big fella. So we will have T-shirts too for fan of the show and probably retroactively fan of the show.
And guests.
And guests. So
And
give
guests.
fans a guess. All right. One last thing before we sign off today, Don. I want to say this to you. This definitely is one of the most interesting parts of my week. It is.
What, Wednesdays?
Yeah, not just this show.
This show, yes.
It's so many people reach out to us. I mean, like today, I'll give you an example. Somebody talked to me about credit, a new home buyer, somebody want to buy a place in Oscoda, and what are they gonna do to sell their home in their retirement home,
Yep.
right? In one day, and they find us from here.
And that's the thing we love to do is help people with what we do.
Right, and that's why we bring guys on like John, because we don't know about fire, we don't know about fire safety as well as he does. He sees it all the time. So, folks, keep coming back every week and watching. We love giving you good information, and we love being ridiculous too. Even if it means breakfast every day, all day long.
Just to get back at the captain.
That's right, Captain Vitale, please.
Well, John, thank you for your service in the fire department, and that's...
We appreciate
Yeah,
you.
thank
Definitely
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you for coming on the show. It was awesome, and down the road again, maybe. Which would be
Absolutely, we
interesting.
love that. We love
Yeah,
that.
maybe we'll have some different.
He's got
we have
plenty of
different
knowledge to share.
questions, So, yeah, absolutely.
I'm Scott,
I'm Don.
I'm John.
and we're talking real estate. See ya.
Peace. Great show, guys.